Well, hello there everyone, it's Sunday and time for a new episode of Record Collecting with a Quill. This is the 52nd episode. It was kind of tricky to say that, which means I've been doing this for a year straight. Every Sunday a new episode, so it's sort of a celebration here. So I gotta say thank you to all of you who's been watching every Sunday, and all of you leaving comments and suggestions. I love hearing back from you, so keep the comments coming. The subject for today is sort of one I've been a little bit hesitant to get into, because I'm afraid it's a little bit like it's going to be like Pandora's box. It's the main focus in my collecting, or has been for many years, and why I started out collecting in the beginning, to a certain extent, and that is collecting Kiss vinyl bootlegs. As I said, it's been my main focus for many years, and I've been sort of thinking, how do I approach this, because I have so much cool stuff. But the subject for today is going to be the Kiss 9, the Japanese 9 vinyl bootlegs. There's 9 releases coming from Japan over the years, or maybe 8. We're going to discuss that a little bit later. So that's going to be the focus for today. Some really cool stuff, some really cool records, and some really rare stuff as well. But before we start, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little notice bell as well, and share with your friends if you think they would enjoy this kind of things. Well, collecting Kiss bootlegs, whenever you talk about that and talk to other collectors, there's sort of a before and after, and this one is, whenever you talk to Kiss collectors collecting vinyl bootlegs, almost everyone mentioned this book. It's a Swedish book called Kiss Still on Fire. It came out in, I believe, 88, if my memory is correct. And what you had in this one, except for the book is not that great, but what it had bootleg discography, where all the bootlegs that had been released up until 1988. And here I remember getting this one. There was so many cool. I knew of all the official albums, and I think I had maybe a few bootlegs. But seeing that list, that started something, and an interest, I guess, a really big interest in seeing all those stuff, all those Kiss records I never seen or heard of, and I started collecting all those bootlegs in 1988 when the book came out. As I said, I had a few, but I think I had They Only Come Out at Night from Stockholm '84, and maybe a few more. And it took me, I don't know, maybe 25 years or so to complete the collection, and now I have every one of those bootleg albums in my collection. So it was a sad day when I got the last release, but it was also a fun day. As you know, all you collectors, it's always fun to get that last piece of the puzzle, and then you're satisfied for one day, and then you continue to sort of get into something else. And for me, when I completed that part of the collection, I started collecting Kiss singles, which I'm no way near having a complete collection. So that will probably take me a good 25-30 years to complete that one as well. But hey, that's the fun of collecting. Well, starting out, as I said, Kiss Japanese bootlegs. There's tons of stuff. The first one coming out of Japan is this one, Kiss Blitz London. I have two different. This is sort of a reddish, or maybe beige, and this one a blue insert cover. Looks like this. Yeah, this one as well. What you have here is a recording from London 1976. What's interesting about this one compared to the other versions of Blitz London is that here you have the first song, Deuce, is a part of this album. It's not on the other versions of Blitz London. It's one of the most famous Kiss bootlegs, or classic ones. This is a good one. I'm really fond of the whole European tour 1976. I think the show is not complete, if my memory is correct. There were some songs missing here at the end. But it's a good recording and sort of unique. It's the only insert cover from Japan of all those releases. Then you have the other ones like Destroys Anaheim and Sneak Attack and all those other cool insert covers that we'll probably do an episode about later on. But this is the first one, Blitz London. Next one is this one, Mama, We're All Crazy Now. It's a recording from Tokyo, 1977. Also cool one. This one is, the recording is quite okay. The problem with this one is they sort of, it's the whole show, but it's on one single disc, so it's kind of, the pressing is not that great, but it's a really cool and a really classic Kiss bootleg. Mama, We're All Crazy Now. Then probably one of the best bootleg releases ever. Next one coming up, and it's this one, Egos at Stake. A super recording from London Unmasked Tour 1980, and a great overall great color cover with some really cool post photos. Eric Carr new in the band as well. And this one is actually, I believe there's 2 or maybe 3 different pressings. The first one, I have the second one with white labels. The first one I believe has red and black labels with some writing as well. Don't have that one, so as a completist, I will probably buy it whenever I have the opportunity. But great recording of a great tour as well. And if the other one, or the Egos at Stake, is a classic one, then this one is probably my favorite bootleg releases of all time. It's the 10th anniversary tour, recording from Universal Amphitheatre in March 1983, the Creatures of the Night tour with Vinnie Vincent. And this is one, I remember seeing this one in a record store when I was really young, or sometime around 1984 or so. And I didn't really know what it was, and it was quite expensive as I remember it, so I didn't buy it. But later on, as I said, when I got the Still on Fire book, this was the one I want because I think the cover was so cool. And it's also great recording from the Creatures tour. There you have the back cover as well. A true classic and something you must have in your collection if you're a Kiss bootleg collector. And what's a little bit special about this one, it's actually a 3-disc set. Don't ask me why, but as I said, the recording is really good. It's sort of it's not that difficult to find, but you have to shell out a little bit of money for it. But it's quite common of all those Japanese bootleg recordings. But a great one. Next one, I believe, is a little bit harder actually. One of the more difficult ones is this one, World Tour 84, recorded Long Beach, California, on the Lick It Up tour. Great recording. Also a 3-disc set. As you can see, you have the labels there, and I think the labels for the Egos at Stake, the first pressing, is sort of looks sort of the same. As I said, a great one. The Lick It Up tour is really cool as well, even though they were having big problems with Vinnie Vincent at the time, and this is by the end of the tour when things were really difficult. Next one is the rarest one, and the one that's getting a bit debated, and that's this one, War Machine. It's a recording from Montreal, also the Lick It Up tour 1984. This is not the complete, it's missing, I think missing part of Paul's solo, and I think also Young and Wasted is missing. This one is really difficult to find, but it's debated. Some sources say that this is not actually a Japanese release, or it's said to be from either America or Canada, and it actually says on the cover down here, printed in the USA, which may or may not be true, because you can never trust a bootlegger. What we do know is that almost every copy that ever is that's been sold stems from Japan. So if it was pressed in the United States, most of the copies must have been exported to Japan and sold in Japanese stores. As I said, the recording is not that great. I think there's a better version of this one available, but it's a really cool release, and I remember looking, it was one of the last ones I got for my collection as well. But a great one to have, and if it's a Japanese one or not, we may never know. But whenever you talk about the Japanese ones, Japanese nines, this one is usually on the list anyway. And here you also have the labels for it. Looks like this, and it is to a certain extent a little bit different to the other ones, because the covers and all the labels are sort of the same. And from what I've been told, all these recordings, bootlegs, the other ones was pressed and sold by the same vendor in Japan. So and War Machine differs a little bit in the cover, in the texture of the cover from the other ones. So it may be true, but as I said, we may never know. Next one up is this one, Kissing the Pink, from Long Beach, once again in California. This is from the Animal Ace tour with Bruce Kulick's first tour. This one is, I don't know, the sound quality is usually really good. This one, has, from my memory, is a little bit worse than the others, but still a cool cover. As I said, it's in the Animalize style, sort of a continuation of that one. And as I said, this one is the backside is quite difficult to read, or maybe it's just my eyesight is getting bad. Another one, I think this was actually the last one I got, is this one, Asylum World Tour 1986. It's also recorded Inglewood, the Forum, California, and a full Asylum show, which isn't uncommon. And for a long time now, I think there's been newly pressed Asylum shows, but for a long time this was the only one with a complete Asylum show, and this is a really good one. Also quite difficult to find, and this one is in top quality, as I said, and the last one of these nines I got, the 9 ones I got, really cool, on 2-disc set. Here you have the labels. Is a little bit different for this one. So the A, B, C, D. And now, last but not least, Kiss are back. The first show in Tokyo on the comeback to Japan after 10 years, the 1988 Crazy Night tour. We have a pretty common version on video. It's from April 22nd, but this is the show the day before, April 21st. Also great recording. Crazy Night was the first time I saw Kiss as 15 years old here in Stockholm, a little bit later than this show, but it's a great tour, and it's something, as I said, since it was the first time me seeing the band, it has a special place in my heart, and it was also really cool to have Kiss back in Japan. I think there's something about Kiss in Japan that is sort of magic. And here you have the labels for this one as well, sort of in this similar style as the other ones. Yeah, as I said, that was the Japanese nine, if you can call them that, the nine Japanese Kiss bootlegs on vinyl. On CD, there's tons of stuff coming from Japan, great stuff. So if we're gonna get into that, I would probably have to do like 20 episodes or something. So much stuff coming there, but for some reason they haven't pressed vinyl in over 30 years. But maybe someday we'll see another release. I will get it for sure. So please comment in the comment section. Which ones of these do you have? Do you have any of them if you're collecting Kiss bootlegs, or any other suggestions? Or do you have any leads on whether War Machine is a Japanese pressing or an US or Canadian pressing? Let me know in the comment section. I hope you really enjoy this. I certainly did. It's my favorite subject. And also, before we end this episode, make sure you follow us on social media. It's the QUILL Sweden, news coming tomorrow about, we're gonna celebrate a little bit. We don't usually look back, but this time we will. So make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on any future news. And make sure you follow us here on YouTube as well, so you don't miss any episodes of record collecting. You wouldn't want to do that, do you? That's it for now. Now I'm rambling once again. See you all again next week. Cheers. Bye for now.